It's the boogeyman.
As a matter of fact, it was.
Hi everyone and welcome to day 27 of my 31 days of horror. Now I do know I did promise you that I would talk about a film that was banned here in the UK in the early 80s. Unfortunately, the film that I tried to watch today, my Blu-ray player kept freezing about 15-20 minutes into it, and every time I went back to it, it kept freezing. So I had to scrap that idea in the end. But for your interest, guys, the film that I was going to talk about was Driller Killer. Now, Driller Killer is one that I always remembered seeing in my local video shop when I was a young kid, and it used to freak the shit out of me every time I went in and I saw it. The cover, the imagery, everything about it. And I thought, what a good film that would be to talk about after so many years. It's a film that's always stuck with me, but because I didn't watch it today, guys, I don't really want to talk about it because it would be defeating the whole object of this project that I'm doing. So I do apologise for that, but I will try and find another copy online somewhere, guys. I'll try and order a copy, and once I've watched it, I will do a quick review for you, just to say sorry. However, the film that I did watch today, and I've just finished watching, has been Halloween. Now, it is a late 70s, early 80s movie, and I do appreciate that Halloween isn't right now. It's a couple more days away, but I was going to talk about this film on the eve of Halloween, or Hallows Eve, so I have brought it forward a bit. Now, the reason why I've not chose this film to review on Halloween night is because basically I think everybody's going to be talking about Halloween. And you guys, you will have read or seen many reviews over the years about this movie. So there's very little I can say about it which you've not already heard before. But I will try. But before we do that, guys, let's check out the trailer and then we'll take it from there.
Halloween night. A small American town. 15 years ago. Michael? Halloween.
I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil. I think he'll come back.
Exploring uncharted territory.
And totally charted.
Just talk.
Sure. The only reason she babysits is to have
Halloween.
Okay, Linda. Come on out.
Halloween. The night he came home.
So Halloween came out, I think it was 78 or early 79 when it was originally released here in the UK. The movie stars Jamie Lee Curtis, who plays, perhaps, other than Michael Myers, she probably plays the main character, the main role in Halloween. And she plays the character Laurie Strode. It also stars the late Donald Pleasence, who plays Dr. Loomis. Now, all that by now, guys, you should already know. You horror fans out there will already know all this. But the film starts off with a brilliantly constructed shot. In any movies that have come out since, this is probably the only movie that's captured such an opening so perfectly well, and I don't think there's any other movies out there that have quite done it. And you all know the scene, guys. We see the camera, or we see the house of the Strodes from outside, but the camera basically pans into the house and it glides around the corridors and into the bedrooms, and that's when we see a young Michael Myers, and obviously the rest is history. He kills his sister, and when his mum and dad return home, he stood outside holding the knife up, and we hear, I think it's the father who says, "Michael, what have you done?" or something on those lines. Top of my head, I can't remember. But you know, you've seen the scene, guys, you know what I mean. And it sets the film off absolutely perfectly. Now, the film obviously jumps forward, I think, is it 20 years, something like that, and Michael escapes from this mental asylum. Now, at this period, he's under the stewardship, if you will, of Dr. Loomis, played by Donald Pleasence. And Dr. Loomis has been the guy who's been with Michael all those years, trying to get to the bottom of why he caused the deaths, what made him trip out the way he did. But obviously, he's been unsuccessful. He's been locked up all those years. He's been in isolation, and he's just grown up to be a big, tough man, if you will, but psychotic. He's escaped. Now, obviously, Dr. Loomis knows the danger the public's in, and he goes out to become the good guy to try and stop Michael before he can cause any more carnage. The film obviously changes over, and we see Laurie Strode. She's with her friends. She's a grown-up girl now, and, she's living a life. She's at school, high school. She's just a normal, typical teenage girl. Now, this is where Michael makes an appearance. He drives down the road in the car, and they all stare at him, call him names. He stops the car, then he drives off. And we see brief moments of Michael starting to stalk his prey, if you will. He's starting to become known to his surroundings. But it's the way it's all filmed, guys. Now, I'm going to talk between this film and Rob Zombie's version, if you will, simply because I like both. Now, where the original film really starts and really works well for people is the fact that we don't know why Michael is doing these murders. And that's the stigma behind the man in the mask. We don't really know what's caused him to flip out the way he did and to grow up the way he has. Nobody really knows. He's just this merciless killing machine. And he's like he's on a crusade to wipe out his entire family, bloodline, if you will, and he'll kill anybody that gets in his way. He wears the iconic mask and the boiler suit. And we don't know anything else about him. That is literally it. Whereas Rob Zombie's version, we see Michael Myers as a young lad. He kills, obviously, his family, or I should say, he kills his sister, and he kills his stepdad, or the bloke who's living with his mum at the time. Then we see him in this mental asylum being spoken to by his mother and by the nurses and by Dr. Loomis. Obviously, he grows up, he escapes, like he does in the original. But we see a lot more backstory to Michael Myers in the Rob Zombie's version. We see him at school, we see him kill the guy, the young lad in the woods. We hear about him torturing animals. But we don't see any of that in the original. Now, I like both movies for what they are. I like the original because we don't know why Michael's doing what he's doing. We don't know what's caused him to do it. But yet I also like Rob Zombie's version because we do get to know a little bit more about a young Michael and why it grows out, or why it turns out to be what he is. Some people don't like Rob Zombies because of that. And I appreciate that, guys, and I do understand the reasons why people don't like it. Me, on the other hand, I'm a big fan of Rob Zombie, so I'm slightly biased. But I do like both movies. And if you said to me, right, Chris, you've got to choose Rob Zombie's or John Carpenter's, which would you prefer? I can't honestly answer that because I've grown up with John Carpenter's version and I love it to bits. I think it's a fantastic film. It's an iconic film. Yes, okay, it could be slightly dated now, I guess, but only slightly. Rob Zombie's version, on the other hand, like I said, it brings a lot more character, a bit more meat to the bone when it comes to Michael Myers. Tells a different story, if you will, as to why he commits these murders, and it's more updated. So I can't really give a definitive answer to which one I would prefer. But yeah, the original Halloween, like I said, we see Michael Myers come back to Haddonfield and he's basically trying to sever his bloodline. He's trying to kill whoever's available, whoever's next in line. And he goes on this one-man warpath. He kills people. He uses the now famous knife, butcher's knife, if you will. And it's what it is, isn't it? Now, I'm finding it difficult to talk about Halloween because I don't want to bore you guys to death with it because you've already seen many reviews over the years. You've probably seen it many times yourselves over the years. So there's very little I can say about it, other than it's well directed and well shot. And also, the name Halloween. How lucky was John Carpenter when he wrote this, the fact that there was no other movies before or since called Halloween. I mean, okay, we've got Tales of Halloween, we've got, you know, other films which have got Halloween in the title, but you know what I mean? There was no film out there before or during filming this called Halloween, and it fits perfectly. That's what it's centred around. It's centred around Halloween night. So yeah, you know, after all this effort and all the hassles that John Carpenter and Debra Hill, who also, you know, was the screenwriter for this film, all the hassles that they both encountered doing this, and yet the title Halloween fell into the laps just like that. And the rest is history, isn't it? It became an overnight sensation. Critics were hailing it the best horror film ever when it first came out. Some critics slated it for being over-excessive when it comes to gore and violence. But that was the 80s, late 70s, early 80s. People were a bit more, you know, they didn't like to see gore and violence on screen because they thought it could influence the younger generation, which that's the debate we're still having today, isn't it? Not more so when you watch a Rob Zombie film. It's gory as hell, the violence is hell. It's the same arguments as what we've had for the last 30, 40 years. Could it influence future generations? I sit on the fence with that argument. That's another video for another day, I guess, guys. That's something I could do another day. Talk to you guys about violence in films. But yeah, Halloween, fantastic, fantastic film. Certain scenes in this film, such as when we see Laurie Strode babysitting the two kids towards the end. I know I've skipped a hell of a lot of you guys, but when we see Laurie Strode babysitting the two kids at the end and they're both running out into the street, well, just before that, we see Michael Myers stood across the road in the lights and the shadows of this house, and one of the kids, the boy, sees Michael Myers and he starts panicking, the boogeyman, and then obviously Laurie looks and he's not there, but obviously then he comes and attacks Laurie in this house. But it's just that one scene where he's walking across the road from that house to theirs, and it's freaky. It really is freaky, and to this day it works extremely well. That music that John Carpenter put into it, that, you know, piano music, the famous Halloween music, instantly recognisable as soon as you hear it. I've even got it on my ringtone on my phone. That's my ringtone. I've even got it on my ringtone, guys. It's that good. What can I say? Sad, I know. But yeah, so Michael Myers, he then comes over to Laurie's, you know, where she's babysitting, and he starts going mental, he's hunting her down. Dr. Loomis, throughout all this, you know, he's working alongside the police officers, he's trying to hunt down Michael, he's got a rough idea where he's going to be and where he's going to be next, and he eventually tracks Michael down to this house where Laurie's babysitting. And we've all seen this scene where he shouts at Michael at the top of the stairs and he looks around and he shoots him, is it 2, 3, 4 times? He falls over, and then obviously the rest is history, isn't it? You know, how many films have we had? 6, 7, 8? I even lose count, guys. I've got them all on DVD and Blu-ray. I love the films Halloween. I love the franchise. I love Michael Myers, and I definitely love John Carpenter's original version. But I can't say do I like it more than Rob Zombie's, and vice versa. They're both unique in their own rights. But yeah, guys, I know I've not given much away in terms of storyline with this because, again, I don't want to bore you all. You've all heard it before. You've all seen it. I just wanted to let you guys know which film I've watched today, which was Halloween, the original, 1978, early 79, I think it was. The John Carpenter original, put it that way. So, guys, I'm going to say it, but if you have seen, you know, obviously Halloween, comment down below. Tell me what your thoughts were. Tell me, this is the debate I want, Rob Zombie's or John Carpenter's version. Obviously, if you hate Rob Zombie, the answer is going to be John Carpenter. I do appreciate that. But if you're a Rob Zombie fan and a John Carpenter fan, which would you say slightly outdoes the other? Like I said, I can't really choose one or the other because they're both different in their own way. But that's just me. If you've not seen Halloween, guys, where have you been all these years? What is it now? 30-year-old now? 35 years old, possibly? My maths isn't that good. You do the math. Where have you been? It's been out for years. It's easy to get hold of. If you've not seen Halloween, the John Carpenter version, go out, hire it, buy it, look for it online, get it watched. You will not regret it. Check out the other Halloweens. Halloween 2, this direct sequel to this one, the John Carpenter version. You will not be disappointed. And in the meantime, guys, like I said, all this is for BLEAKHOLT Animal Sanctuary. I'm trying to raise a few quid to give them help with funds such as wages, bedding for the animals, food, obviously maintenance of the buildings. The links are down below, guys. If you can put your hand in your pockets, we're coming towards the end of all this project now. And I know they'd appreciate all the help you can get. I think I've got another 4, maybe 5 more videos to get in, and then the project just ends. So dip in if you can, guys, into your pockets. Check them links out, get them pressed, and also help BLEAKHOLT in the process of doing all this. I've enjoyed watching Halloween. Tomorrow I've got another great film from the 80s, special one. I'm not going to say anything else on it, but tomorrow's an even special one. So come back tomorrow, guys, day 28 of my 31 Days of Horror. And in the meantime, as I always say, take care and look after yourselves.